Hey, my name is Bonnie Humphreys. I am the Chief of Staff here. And to me, athlete means consistency even when no one's looking.
Hi, my name is Shannon McMullen, Director of Fitness. And to me, an athlete is striving to be the best version of yourself physically as well as mentally.
My name is Mitch from the House of Athlete team. Athlete to me is a person who just pushes through everything, not only just physically, but again, mentally.
Hi, I'm Amanda Medlock. I'm a fitness coach here at House of Athlete. Athlete to me, you're constantly putting yourself under physical and mental kind of stress, so it's pushing through that, remaining as raw, real, and powerful as you can be.
I'm Bianca Diaz, project manager, and to me, athlete means being a competitor.
Hi, I'm Brandon Marshall, founder, CEO of House of Athlete. You know, we're all athletes, and to me, it's a mindset. Hi, my name is Brandon Marshall.
Hi.
You
Hi,
guys
Brandon.
know me because we work together every day, but it's a new show. And look, I'm super excited about this. You know, a lot of people, watch I Am Athlete. It's a cultural, social phenomenon, and it's really cool. But you guys know me, right? You guys know my passion, and my passion has always been to help bridge the gap in the mental health community. And I felt like our foundation, number one responsibility was to raise awareness, right? So 2011, I was at McLean Hospital in an outpatient program. I was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder. My life was a living hell. Probably the most impactful form of therapy for me was self-assessment. And it was just 6, 7, 8 people sitting in a circle talking about what was going on. And so I'm excited about this because House of Athlete, our baby, we all love House of Athlete and play a role in building this company and helping so many people. I'm excited to finally be in position to do something amazing with you guys. So at the end of the day, the thing that matters is are we getting the job done, right? Are we helping people, and really starting with our team, our staff, and then being able to service and provide care for all the other athletes, pro athletes to youth athletes to general population athletes coming into House of Athletes. So, that's where I'm at. Shannon?
What's up? Okay, want me to introduce myself? So, Shannon McMullen, as you guys hopefully know by now, Director of Fitness here at HOA. So I get to do what I think is the fun stuff, but I get to program, put on events, I get to help people and change lives. It's the dopest job I could imagine, which is why I've been here for 5 years. It's incredible to be a part of HOA, no matter how hard it gets, no matter what ups and downs we go through. And to me, an athlete is striving to be the happiest version of yourself, and the best version of yourself physically as well as mentally.
I am Mitch from House of Athlete, part of the sales team. And honestly, mental fitness has been impacting my life itself. So the fact that we implement that in our daily lives and also preaching that out to the people who are coming in or to our active members here, it's been it's honestly a journey because you see people's lives changing itself. So it's it pushes you to just keep on going and keep on spreading that, to the people out there and just, spreading the word and making it a everyday lifestyle and not just how are you doing one day here and there. So athlete to me is a person who shows up every day, person who just pushes through everything, not only just physically, but again, mentally.
Hi, I'm Amanda Medlock. I'm a fitness coach here at House of Athlete. I do private training, I do specialty classes, I do just about everything, as you guys know. One thing that I've really loved about being at House of Athlete is it's a different vibe. Outside of work, we all hang out all the time, my homies. In work, we're all good vibes, have a great time, but also the really dope part of it is I feel like I can be open about what I'm actually going through with my friends and with my coworkers. And I feel in a lot of corporations or jobs that I've had before, I've just kind of gone in, got the job done and left. But here I actually have like true friends, true teammates, true coworkers that I can like lean on and talk about what I'm going through. If I'm not like having the best day, I can actually like say that and be raw and real with them and not just be like, oh, everything's good all the time, you know? So it's pretty cool. I love it here. Athlete to me could be anything from a mom to a business owner. You're constantly putting yourself under physical and mental kind of stress. So it's pushing through that and remaining as raw, real, and powerful as you can be.
Hi, I'm Bianca Diaz, project manager. And to me, athlete means being a competitor, whether it's with other people, whether it's by yourself. It's always just striving to be the best version of yourself and understanding that you're not perfect. So you're always striving to get to as close as possible, but also while maintaining, your mental, emotional, spiritual component of it. I was formerly a member here. That's how I, heard about House of Athlete. I grew up 3 minutes down the road, started training here, and I ended up talking to Brandon and figured out this was the right fit for me as a job. I love startup culture. I thrive off of that. I, organize chaos, as we put it. But no, I absolutely love it here. I think, like Amanda said, like just the culture is it's just amazing. Like you've built an amazing thing here, we are building, an amazing thing. We're building a plane in the air, but it's been an amazing journey, and I'm so excited for the future of everything. And I thank you for believing in me and actually allowing me to be a part of this journey with you and with all of you guys. So I got an opportunity to be a part of the women's senior Puerto Rican team for lacrosse. I've played lacrosse since 9th grade, played lacrosse at UCF, and I ended up getting an opportunity for that. So I came in. You told me to come for the House Collegiate class, which is those college D1 athletes that are training here. I ended up playing hooky at my old job so that I could come. You're like, come on. And I started doing the classes, and you're like, hey, how do you like it? And I was like, I absolutely love it. I'm gonna quit my job, and you're gonna hire me, Brandon. And I walked away.
I'm like, what? Okay.
And then he comes back. He's like, so do you really want a job here? And I'm like, yeah, I do. And the next day, I handed him my resume, and he was like, I don't know where we need you, but I know we need you here. So yeah, I was training. I currently am training and everything. We have tryouts at the end of this month. So, fingers crossed on all of that. So I'm super, super excited.
There we go. I love it.
Here we are.
My name is Bonnie Humphreys. I am the chief of staff here. And to me, athlete means consistency, even when no one's looking. When people ask what a chief of staff means, you hear it, but you're like, what is that, right? And I define it as there's this special spot within startup and within businesses that somebody just has to be in the back scenes, just moving everything around. Like you're somebody who's like, I'm working on the special projects. I'm working on the external stuff. Wait, we have a problem here with people. These two things need to be worked on. Wait, B, we need to talk. You're not on the same page. What's going on? Like, where's your head at? So it's just a special space that being a chief of staff, you just kind of get to be in everything. You're everywhere and nowhere. You make no decisions, but you know all decisions that need to be made, and it's a role. I love managing executive teams, and I gotta say, I love this place. I've worked at a lot of places so far in my career, but I've always been in a space where I felt like I've been trying to make room for my athletic identity and having to be this one person and then come to work and be this other person, right? I feel like we spoke about that, Amanda, and now I'm just like, I don't have to be 5 people in a day. Like, I'm just this one person every day, all day. Call you back, B, I'm training. Like, I'm almost done, 10 more minutes. Like, I'm training later. And to be able to be in that space at House of Athlete is really just a blessing. And I've been here, 7, 8 months? And it's really been like such a switch that I've been healing from other spaces that I've been in that I'm just like, you don't got to be that anymore. Like, you don't have to overthink who you show up at work. You don't have to overthink what you wear to work. Like, you don't have to overthink all these things that I've been overthinking for so long. So it's a real sweet blessing to be here and have to come up as yourself every day.
That's awesome.
That's really good. So we met at the Forbes Health Summit. I had an opportunity to speak there in New York. It was amazing, sitting next to the who's who in the space. And that's how I met Bonnie. Right, it was that connection through mental health. She was like, she didn't even know I played football, who I was, but I guess I did a good job speaking. And she came up to me after, like, we need to connect. I love what you are saying and what you're doing, and we stayed in contact. Probably a year and a half, 2 years went by, just
Yeah, COVID
connecting
happened,
and
yeah.
meeting. And I realized it's like, we need someone like this on our team. Initially, I thought she was gonna come in and run the foundation, but then I'm like, well, we'll never be able to get to a great place in the nonprofit space if the for-profit isn't strong. And all the challenges that we face in startup, right, at House of Athlete, like some people look at our content and like, oh my goodness, this is awesome, but they don't know our stories behind the scene and how we're struggling at times. And it's like, and busting our ass, like, and so like, that's why I was like, you know what, let's focus over here. I need you there. But with that being said, you know, we're in this space now where we have a lot of content coming out on other platforms, but now we have an opportunity to tell our story, you know, our own stories, one, and then House of Athlete's story. So I'm super excited about it. And then there's this, you know, this underlining thing that keeps popping up, and that's mental fitness, you know. And I guess my question to you, starting with you, Bonnie, is like, why is mental fitness, mental health so important to you?
It's loaded, right? Where do I begin? I mean, I think deep inside, I think mental fitness, people, it's always been this physical fitness and mental fitness, right? And I think it's mental fitness and physical fitness. And I think it's the operating system of your entire life. Like, it's like, if you have that dialed in, that's what has you controlling everything else. But for me, I mean, it's really important because it's just, everything that's going on in my head is going to impact everything that I do outside. And I had to learn really, like, I impact a lot of people every day. Like, I impact probably, like I said, there's 67 people here. I live with 4 people at home, and all the people that interact outside of that. That, like, if I don't take care of me, then there's over 75 people that can probably be affected by how I operate. So yeah, and I think, you know, let me know how far you want me to go with this, but ultimately I think it's, I just had to learn really important, and like, I mean, it can go right away. I lost my parents really young, and I became really aware of how important it is to understand yourself and operating every single day, because to lose your parents at 18, by 18, you know, both of them, you have to build a way of operating for yourself every single day that allows you to be sustainable, but also allows you to be like, how the hell am I going to get through this life, right? Like, literally just like, sometimes I always tell people, like, think about like the Lion King, right? And you see Simba, and like, he's with Mufasa, and he's like, Dad, wake up, Dad, wake up, Dad. And he just runs into the world, right? He runs into the world, and you have no idea. Like, he just keeps running. He's running into the world, and there's just like no answers, no this, no that. And along the way, he meets all these beautiful people. Like, he meets all these lovely friends. He sees everything. He, like, you know, for me, you see Timba and Timon, like Pumbaa and Timon. Those are my sister and Jaden, right? And he just becomes this person. And I think along that, he comes back to Pride Rock, and he's just this newfound person, because he's figured out ways how to make himself happy. He's figured out ways how to make himself this. And I think the way he's figured that out is through his mental health. Like, it's through who he's become inside. It's through who he's figured out how to make himself happy. How do you control yourself? How do you take care of yourself? Like, what do you eat? Who says I need to eat the things on Pride Rock? I can eat these insects. Like, I can eat. So to me, I think about mental health in that way. I think about it's like how you operate within yourself for you to show up every single day. And it's not go pumping the weight and look great. And no, it's like, how do you feed yourself here to show up out there? And that's kind of a place to start. But how'd you do that to me right away?
Yeah. Making me tear up. I'm like,
Did you guys know Bonnie's story?
no,
Right.
no.
Yeah, it's powerful. I mean, we never really peeled back the layers and dove deep there, but I just see you all the time, and like, I'm like, I don't know how the hell you do it. You know, like, you're taking care of so many of us here, so many people report to you, and, you know, you communicate with, but you're also like, you know, a parent, you know, a mother, right? Like, yeah, powerful.
I do it because I was just built this way.
Right.
And this was just my path.
Right.
So I've reached that point where I'm like, I'm grateful every day. And like, people see me do pull-ups every day, and I say that's my way to say you can pull up through anything in this day. So
Let me ask you a question before we move on. Like, recently, there's been a couple times over the last month, I would say, where I hit you up and you're like, oh, let me hit you back, I'm going into therapy. You know, why is that important to you?
I think I met a new therapist for one. And it's important to me because I think you always need to, when you're just operating within yourself, like I'm a very individual person, right? And like my job is very individual, right? Like I notice sometimes that I'll spend the whole day just on myself. Like I'll call you, but like I'll just be alone. And it's important because you really just need to have someone just to bounce things off of. Here's how I'm feeling. What do you think about this? Like, sometimes I feel lonely. Is that normal? Like, you know, is it okay that I just like to be alone? Am I a normal lonely person? She's just like, no, that's just who you are. Like, you just like it. So I think it's important to me because you just need to have that safe space where someone understands you, someone knows what you're dealing with. You're like, hey, I'm feeling like this week. Like, what's that? So I just met a new therapist. We met like 3 months ago. So we have weeklies now. Like it's been weekly lately because we're like building up a momentum. But
I didn't know if it was for you or if it's because I'm putting more pressure on you. Like,
no. No, I just was like, we met, and then I was just like, when you meet someone at 30 and you're just like, all right, I got a lot to catch you up on. Let's talk every week, right? Because then we're going to have to twice a week because we need to get to the point. So I just been like trying not to overload her. And so we've been talking weekly. And I do it at the end of the week because it's just like a good download to the day and to the week and just be like, here's what happened this week. This week was fun. This week was this.
I love it. Shan.
Okay, mental fitness. I always tell people, it's like, to me, it's like everything, right? But it's also simple because it is everything. It's like, it's physical. You should take care of your body to a certain extent. You don't have to be like, you know, six pack, this and that, but you should try to train. You should eat 80-20 because I like my donuts, you know? Emotionally, like check in with yourself daily, like multiple times a day. Like mentally, like actively, like Mary said earlier, like work on it, you know? So it's like everything and like nothing at the same time. It's just like who you are. I always tell people in class, when we're breaking down class, I'm like, hey, it doesn't matter if you have huge biceps and a six pack and you have striations in your quads, if you have demons in your head. Because like, you're not enjoying life. Like you're not actually happy, right? It's like, it doesn't correlate. Like physical can help the mental, but it's not gonna be like, oh, I'm floating on cloud nine, like I love my life, just because you look a certain way. Look at how many bodybuilders and everything have like mental health issues, and we think that they're just like, oh, they're so hot, they're this, like they must be like vibing out, you know? Like, you know, a short connection for me and mental health is I came out, don't know if you guys can tell, gay, but anyway.
It's so funny earlier you said, you want me to do the gay thing?
Yeah.
Like, what?
I came out pretty early in life, and I grew up in a very conservative, diehard Catholic household. So it's like those two completely miss each other. I was outcasted by my family. I felt extremely lonely. Oh, I'm gonna cry now. Like when I was growing up, like I didn't have a support system. And I kind of always like longed for that. And it's funny because now with all my friends, I'm like, yo, you want to go to Topgolf? You want to do this? We're going to have a movie night. And for Christmas, we're going to blah, blah, blah. And I'm like the event planner. And I realized through therapy, it's because like I didn't have that growing up. Like it was kind of like, you know, I never felt like that love or connection to like my parents that I did. They kicked me out when I was like 16 and I had to live with my best friend for a while. Then I was like, oh, I was just kidding. I'm not gay. Because like I'm 16, what can I do, right? I came out to them again, like probably 2 years ago. And they finally like built up to it and accepted it. But even now it's like, there's no connection. Like they don't feel like family. And one thing about HOA, I've built like with the OGs, they're gonna hopefully watch this, they're my family. Like every major life crisis I go through, coming on the podcast, when you asked me 2 hours ago to come on the podcast, I was like, guys, I was like, what do I wear? Like, what do I do? You know? And
you tapped in with the OGs?
Yeah, of course, yeah. And I had to like, you know, I was calling them, texting them, and it's like, that's my family. Like family doesn't have to be blood. It's just like whoever loves you and supports you and you love them and support them back. And it's like, that's why I'm ultimately so grateful for HOA.
They say there's a difference between relatives and family members.
Yeah. To me, huge difference. Like, if you vibe with your family, by all means, that's amazing. But I had to grow up, like, pretty young, and I had to kind of, like, make things happen for myself pretty young in a different way. And, yeah, this place has just really helped me it stressed me out. It has stressed me out in some therapy sessions, maybe, you know, due to that. But ultimately, this has like changed my life because the people in my, like, I would not be the Shan who I am now without you, without everybody else.
Do you think, like, you know, the stress from work and just life, if you didn't do therapy, would you still be this amazing Shannon? Like,
No, God, no. I think therapy gave me tools. Like, I talk to everybody that's close to me about my problems. Talking out is one thing, but I'm a person who actively needs to work on things. I know things won't be fixed immediately, but if I'm not putting in the effort to try to make it better, I'll like freak out in my head. So therapy at least gave me the tools where my friends might be like, ah, screw it, you know? Because like sometimes when they see you going through things, they don't really understand what's inside. But like Mary, Melanie, like everybody we have, they were like, hey, try this exercise. Like, hey, write down this in a journal. Like, take this time and like turn your phone off or whatever. Yeah. And I could not be managing what I do now and like who I am without it, 100%. Yeah.
I love you.
Oh, I love you too, B. We'll hug later.
Mental fitness to me is kind of like fitness itself. Like I see it as like working out, putting that as a routine daily, like same way I put mental health, because that's one thing that really helped me throughout my journey. Like growing up from middle school, not lost my parents, but they got in a divorce, so kind of had like no guidance within anything. So I never really like prioritized my mental health. I kind of just said, you know, nobody has to hear me out. Like I could just keep it to myself. I never really like spoke about anything at all. So obviously that just built so much like just darkness within myself and like insecurities, and I just had no confidence. I felt like I had nobody to talk to. Like my sisters, at one point, they looked at me as like the spoiled brat, and like that I got everything and I was the happiest one, and in reality it wasn't that. So that excuse me, that kind of just like messed with my head as I was growing up. Like, damn, I love my sisters, but this is how they feel about me. Yeah. Like, damn. So as I was growing up, as I started like I was 275. Let me just start off with that. I was 275. I was a big boy, and
he was a big boy. So I was a big boy.
And I was pretty big, but along with like having insecurities, no confidence, you know, I started getting into fashion, and fashion was a way for me to express myself. Like I didn't feel good in my body, but when I dressed nice and like put these cool things together, I was like, damn, I like it. I feel good. Mm-hmm. I started getting into creating my own clothes because I was so big. I had to literally like remake everything. I had to go to thrift stores and like just make my own stuff because nothing at a store that I liked would fit me. So I had to create my own stuff. And at one point, Mitch, which is my middle name, so my real name is Brandon, let's just say that. Here at House of Athlete, you know, we get mixed up a lot, so it was switched to my middle name. So I fell in love with my middle name. Like I was just like, Mitch, like it rings. And
You got it tatted.
yeah, like I have it right here. Like it just speaks volume, honestly. And when I fell in love with it, I started like telling myself like, yo, you create your own clothes, like Mitch, like that sounds nice. Like my own clothing brand under my name. And I thought about it, you know, as I continued my fitness journey, I started feeling good. And I honestly thought, like I really thought I was gonna be a coach coming into here. I got into the whole fitness journey, I was like, hey, I'm gonna be a coach. And then I was like, it's lit. The brand was like, Mitch thinks he's gonna be a coach, but he's gonna be in the exec team. I'm like, all right, bet.
I said that?
Yeah. I was like, you know what? I'm here with it. You never know what happens. So I just kind of like ran with it. So whatever, I went through my whole journey and I started thinking about, like, I always distress my clothes. Like all my clothes are all distressed. Like it's always cut up because I am short too. So I gotta make it work sometimes with certain things. So I thought of my clothing line, which is coming soon, but it's kind of like
seeing you teasing it a little bit, these little photo shoots.
Yeah, you know, it's coming in here and there, but it's gonna be called Distressed by Mitch. And
I
it's,
think I was your first.
yeah, Amanda was
picture.
my first person. Like
He
to-
distressed some jeans for me. They're
Yeah.
pretty dope. Yeah.
Yeah,
Can I get something?
of course. You already know. I thought about you and Misha from
All
the
right,
beginning.
cool.
You know, come on, I got you.
Say no more. Say no more.
But yeah, like I was like, you know, the way I felt in my clothes, I felt at peace. I felt free, like distressed. Like I just felt nothing. Like no matter what was going on in the world, like because I was wearing my clothes, I just felt cool. Like I felt good, and that's when that whole image just came upon. And then now incorporating like House of Athlete with my whole entire journey, it's like coming to work, like you said, you can come in here and just be yourself. And you don't have to live a fashionable life and then all right, working out here. Like it's all inclusive, and that's what I like. And that's why a lot of people love the energy here, because it's like they look at us and they're like, yo, these people are like themselves. We're all transparent about it. And the one thing I love about it is that I connect with these members like every day, and it's like you would think that these people are scared, like they are scared. They're intimidated to like, you know, speak their truth, but when you know, connect with them, it's like, wow, there's real people out here. And then, you know, little times like where you're having a conversation with a member and I see that in the class, I'm like, I love that. Like, because it's not only just me, but it's within the whole entire staff. And that says a lot. Good people attract good people, honestly. And that's what we live by here. Like
Why do you think community and tribe is so important, right? Like I hear you just talk about like people. Like why is connection so important, you think?
a lot of people like me and Shan, where we felt like alone in our young ages, and now that you have a community where you guys all feel welcome to just be yourselves. Like we're all equal in this house. Like it's crazy. Like you have that vibe no matter what. Like when I'm giving tours to people, they're like, you know, this part already feels like home. And I'm like, good, because it is your home away from home. Like that's what I always tell people. And without tribe and community, you're just lost in your head, feeling like you have nobody, feeling like nobody is there to hear you out. Like just feeling like you're all by yourself and nobody cares. But when I come here, it's like having important conversations with like anybody, and it changes.
Amanda, what's up?
What's up, B?
Is mental fitness important to you? Mental
It's so important.
Really?
So I've been thinking about how I was gonna like talk about my story. I think the easiest way to like talk about it is, so I grew up playing collegiate volleyball. I played volleyball, I played collegiate volleyball. And my position in volleyball was a 6 rotation outside hitter. So it's like the player who never comes off the court, they play all around, they do all the things kind of thing. And
So badass, basically.
yeah, sure. So through therapy and through talking to my therapist, I found out that I kind of play that role in my life. I feel like I do all the things, I play all the positions, and as a 6 rotation outside, you're expected to have it all together and like be the player on the court that everybody can depend on, because you get like 65, 70, sometimes 75% of the balls. So I've always felt like this like somewhat pressure on my back to like have it all together and to like be just be like there for everybody else. And like I was never like fully there for myself. Like up until probably 2020, I had my first like true like mental health breakdown where I was like, wow, I need therapy. Like up until that point, I was like, I got this. Like I can figure it out. It's all good. And then I finally got to the point where I was like, no, I need I need help. Like I need to talk to somebody. So from 2020 until now, like back then I would go to therapy every week. And as you guys know, I'm a very sensitive person. So it was like a really great outlet for me to just be able to like freely share my emotions and cry and like talk through like all the things that I've kind of like pushed under the rug through my life, because I always felt like I had to have it all together for everybody else. And like therapy, as I've said so many times, completely changed my entire life. Like, and I'm thankful that I was able to experience therapy here, because otherwise I wouldn't have gone out of my way to find it. Like it was readily available for me here, and so I was able to just like have it there for me, you know? You're even more powerful when you show that you have weaknesses. You know what I mean? Like to act perfect and to seem like you have it all together in front of everybody around you isn't realistic. I'm able to see that like you said, Shan, like it's not all about having the big biceps and having the abs if you're truly unhappy on the inside. Just like it's not, you don't want to be rainbows and butterflies all the time, and then on the inside you're actually like a storm cloud and no one actually knows what's going on, you know? On the bright side though, I'm always very positive and I'm very like uplifting, and I always want to encourage people and help people feel like their best selves, and that's what I believe my goal and my duty is here at House of Athlete. But I've learned that it's in like a very, like a way where I can actually connect with people, and I can actually be like, yo, it's okay. Like, you can talk to me, and I might not have six-pack abs and I'm a fitness coach here. Like, you don't have to worry so much about the six-pack abs. I'm more worried about, or let's talk about how you actually feel. Let's talk about why you're eating that food. Let's talk about why you're in here working out 6 days a week. You know what I mean? Like, what's the meaning behind what you're doing, and how does it impact your mental fitness and your mental health, you know? So I've learned, like, I've really become who I genuinely feel like God has wanted me to be throughout my life, like being here, because I've opened and been more real with myself and more raw with myself, and then I can be more real and raw with other people, and they can be more real and raw with me. So it's really beautiful.
It is.
Yeah.
It is beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean, I love your journey the last couple of years, just knowing you over, a few years. What's cool is seeing you on social, because you're active on social.
Yeah.
You do a good job with social.
Thank you, B. Wow, that's a really nice one.
That's like a high tier.
I know.
What was she going to
We'll talk later.
All right, we'll talk.
Yeah, no.
You're crushing it now, though. I love what you do in the altitude room and the other studio rooms.
For real though.
Yeah. We'll talk about it later. No, but it's, I think your best content is when you're actually vulnerable in your lowest moments.
Yeah.
So when you're up there on IG Live.
I've cried
Yeah, but
on my Instagram story, yeah.
and I guarantee probably like that's when you see the biggest connection with people.
Yeah.
Because it also sends a message to everyone else, like, you know what? I don't have to be perfect. I don't have to always try to live up to be. What did you say? The 6-person rotation. What is it? The volleyball.
6 rotation player.
6 rotation. Badass.
Yeah. Badass.
Yeah,
Yeah.
badass.
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
Good. I'm cool with that. That's good.
Yeah.
B?
For mental fitness, I think for me, what I love about like us being able to label that is what it really means. And for me, it's like acknowledge and maintaining your mental health. I think maintaining your mental health is extremely important. And I grew up in a Spanish Christian home where mental health is very taboo. It's like you pray, you're going through something, pray about it. You're going through something, put some Vicks on it. Like there was never, you're going through something, like it must be your mental health. And so I grew up, playing sports, being very physical, scraping my knees, just getting up, rubbing some dirt on it and moving on. And my passion in life is to help other people pursue their passions. That's like my goal. I'm like, how can I help you do what you want to do best? I think that I just find so much joy in. Like that's my passion, is to help other people. And so just like kind of like an analogy with like you is that like, I went to my therapist and she's like, you're like a socket, right? Like, and you have all of these plugs in your socket, and when your entire socket is full, there's nowhere else to plug in more things, and you're trying to jam in and plug in other things, and soon, it's going to turn off, like, and everything's going to shut down. And that's what happened with me. I was plugging in too many things, doing too many things for other people, carrying the burden of my family, my friends, all of these things, because I was in a position to be like, no, I want to help you do your best, but I wasn't taking care of myself. And backstory, like growing up. So I have a disability. I have a progressive hearing loss. So since I was born, it's genetic. Ever since then, yes, I wear hearing aids. So when I don't want to listen to you, I take them off.
Okay, go.
So I have a progressive hearing loss. So, by the time I'm older, like just every year, it progressively gets worse. And about like 6 years ago, I got into a jet ski accident where I fell on my right ear and I ruptured my entire eardrum. So I've had 3 surgeries on my right ear, total of 6 surgeries on both of my ears with tubes in my ears when I was younger, total of 6 surgeries. And it's just after that accident, I like I think that that's kind of like what kickstarted my mental health, like deteriorating and like realizing like I'm not okay, you know, because my physical self wasn't okay because I got into an accident. Like, so I was like, oh my gosh, I need to like get physical help, but I'm like, my mental health is broken down, you know? And so I just was having too much weight on my shoulders, you know, and I ended up going to therapy. I still go to therapy. But I've come to the realization of like, if your physical self isn't okay, like you need something to help that, you know? And like my physical ears are not okay. I need hearing aids to help that, and that's okay. Because my biggest stigma was, a big thing was medication, is taking medication for mental health. Like, why would you do that? You know, you can fix it by talking to somebody, you can fix it by this. But I realized that sometimes your physical body affects your mental health. And so I do take medication because my body likes to go a mile a minute. Like, it just decides to keep going. And my mind's trying to, yes, and my mind tries to catch up with it. So just taking medication just allows me to really like just calm my body down and to acknowledge what's going on and to maintain my mental health. So a lot of times people think like, oh, okay, well, you take medication so you're fixed. And I'm like, no, like the whole point of medication is to allow your body to be at this normal level so that whenever you are feeling anxious or sad or depressed, you're able to maintain that on top of the medication, you know? So I tell people all the time, like, I'm taking medication to maintain it. It doesn't mean I'm cured of anxiety, you know? But it's to help me level out so that I can be my best self and acknowledge that. And also doing the therapy to help me not realize that I have so many sockets in, you know? I have to plug something out. I have to say no to things. I have to be like, I can help you now or I can help you later, you know? Not go a mile a minute for a lot of things. So, you know, just like my journey with my hearing aids has helped me acknowledge, you know, all the stuff that I deal with my mental health, and just understand that there's other ways to go about mental health, and everybody's mental health journey is very different. But acknowledging it and understanding it and figuring out how to maintain it. And I think that that's what mental fitness is to maintain that mental health, because no one's perfect, you know, and so everybody's gonna have to have some sort of mental journey. It may be a small one, you know, somebody might be okay at this level, maybe a big one, but I think throughout our lives, and we need to use the tools that we have, and that's what we're doing here, is using these tools to kind of help us on our mental health journey.
I think right around like the 3-month mark, you put out a post and you opened up. Mm-hmm. It was the first time I was around you about, you know, your hearing challenges. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, is that it, right?
Yeah.
Now, like, we're in the meetings and you're the boss, you run everything, and you're still loud, but I sit back because I'm like, I think I understand. Mm-hmm. You understand?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you're more like, I understand you, I get it, and it's like more, you know, empathetic.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, and I think a lot of that like also stems on like being vulnerable about it, because like there's been times where I'm like, you know, I think a lot of you felt like, okay, well, if I'm vulnerable, that means I'm weak, you know? And I think that a lot of times, you know, especially in, you know, the athletic world, is like, you know, you being vulnerable is considered you weak, you know? Like, especially with you and that pro, and you coming out, you know, talking about, you know, what you're going through, like, there's always that like fear of like, oh, well, they don't think that I'm gonna be at my best. I'm not gonna be at my top tier. So, you know, me coming out, me being vulnerable about that, you know, I felt that I was weak, and what I realized is the complete opposite. It's like, oh my gosh, you're that much stronger because you've decided to be vulnerable and open with us, and we see you now. We see you. We're able to be there with you. We're able to kind of be empathetic and get on your level. So, I mean, it's huge, and something that I've learned.
I'm extremely excited about, you know, this month. It feels right to roll out what House of Athlete is. For the past year and a half, we haven't produced much content or told our stories. And this is the perfect month and the perfect time to launch, because, you know, to me, we're in this space now where we're defining athlete. So our campaign is redefining athlete. And I think it's exactly that, what you guys said, right? Because a lot of times at House of Athlete, people see the top athletes training here. But what about the business owner? What about the nurse? What about the mom? What about the dad, right? What about the fitness director? You know, we're all athletes, and to me, it's a mindset, okay? And to be able to tell these stories is extremely important because I feel like we are the healthiest people on the planet and more people should adopt our lifestyle. And so when you look at these pillars that we always talk about, train, fuel, mental fitness, recover, okay? It's extremely important. This is tribe. So redefining athlete, this is what it is. We aim to create a global tribe of whole athletes where we prioritize both physical and mental health, which we call mental fitness. We believe being an athlete isn't just about our physical ability or competitive performance, but also about being consistent and showing up every day to do the work it takes to become the best version of yourself. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you for having us.
Let's redefine athlete.
Let's go.